Hey guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Dr. Tom LaHue, and I want to thank you for joining me. We're going to talk about Enneagram Type 5 and some of the superpowers or the strengths of Enneagram Type 5. If you are a 5, I hope this video is encouraging to you. If you live with a 5 or are connected to a 5, then I hope this helps you understand a little bit more about the person that you love and can relate to them in a little bit maybe healthier ways. As a reminder, in the description below is a link to my website, tomlahue.com. I would love for you to go there and join my free community. I do send out an email every week, and I would love for you to get that information and to be a part of my network. And also, I do offer coaching. So if you feel stuck in life or your relationships, it's such a helpful tool to understand the Enneagram, because when you bring that into how we show up in life and understanding our purpose and connecting in relationships, it's just a very valuable tool. And I do offer coaching, so I would love to meet with you. If I can help you in any way, please just go to my website, tomlahue.com. All right, let's jump into this. What are some of the strengths of Enneagram Type 5? Well, this is by no means an exhaustive list, but I do have a list in front of me, so if you see me look away, it's because I'm looking at my list. I have 7 different strengths of Enneagram Type 5. And this may or may not relate completely to you. You might hear this and say, yeah, that's a little bit like me, or that was more like me at some time in my life. But I think generally speaking, or generally true, you could say this about most Enneagram Type 5s. And 5s, are called problem solvers or iconoclasts. Iconoclast is basically, tell me what you believe and I'll show you where you went wrong, or I'll show you where your assumptions are based on misunderstandings or on incomplete truths or incomplete facts. So 5s tend to be oriented toward information, toward boundaries, toward keeping their space and their distance. They're very independent, tend to be independent-minded people. So let's look at these top 7 strengths or superpowers that 7s bring. By the way, the superpower of the 7 is invisibility. So if every type had their own superpower, 5s kind of have this ability to make themselves invisible, or maybe to make you feel invisible around them if they decide to detach or to be unaffected by you. All right, so number 1 on my list is intellectual curiosity. Intellectual curiosity. So 5s tend to be curious people who have, you might say, an unending desire to learn. Now, that being said, sometimes it can be difficult to teach a 5. Sometimes 5s can have a hard time, staying focused on a specific teacher. But that doesn't mean they're not learning. Doesn't mean you're not learning. It's kind of like you're always learning, but sometimes can maybe be a challenging student for the average teacher. Think Albert Einstein. His teachers said that it was impossible for him to learn. Well, obviously he was learning, but may have a difficult time being taught by another person. All those questions, that a 5 might have, and sometimes can be unnerving questions for a teacher who just wants to get through the curriculum. A teacher who just wants to get through the curriculum could really frustrate or be frustrated by a 5 who wants to stop and really ask questions and debate and get to the real heart of the matter and the details. So they enjoy accumulating knowledge and are not afraid to dive deep into a complex subject and gain a complete understanding. Something I can appreciate about a 5, 7 has aligned a 5 at our best. We can kind of focus our attention and gain information, gain understanding. But at some point, 7s tend to wear out and get burned out and feel like, well, I know enough about this. It's time for me to move on. And I get bored maybe with information at some point. I want to move on to something else. And that ability for 5s to really focus in and master something. One of the things I think about when I think about 5s is lawyers, and I've met quite a few lawyers that are 5s that are able to deal with some of that, what I would say is boring, tedious information, but information that is important and needs to be mastered in order to be useful. And so that ability to focus your attention and master something I appreciate about Type 5s. All right, number 2, analytical skills. Analytical skills. So Type 5s often have a keen ability at analyzing information. Looking at all the facts, looking at all the details, all of the situation, and then analyzing the problems, and excellent at identifying patterns, dissecting issues, and providing thoughtful and insightful perspectives. So good at analyzing information. Kind of like, think if people are very emotional and they're caught up in a debate, they're frustrated, they're hurting each other's feelings. Fives are often good people to sit and listen to that interaction and then sort of, I like to say, bottom line the problem. Like, put aside all of the emotional information, put aside how everybody feels about it, and ultimately we have a disagreement between two people who have these two different opinions. And fives are good at just kind of detaching away from all that emotional stuff and helping analyze the situation and then kind of come up with a bottom line. Like, here's the situation. There's a choice between this route, and this route. And that can be extremely helpful when trying to deal with a problem or trying to solve a problem. Maybe one of the reasons the 5-wing-6 is called the problem solver is they're able to detach from some of that emotional stuff and just analyze the problem and stay focused on the details and stay focused on the actual situation that is at hand. Okay, number 3, independence. Independence. Now, of course, this could become a problem in relationships, but we're not going to focus on the negatives in this video. We're going to focus on the positives. Independence, self-reliant. Fives kind of got a message early on in life that if it was going to be, it's up to me. I got to take care of myself. Nobody's coming to take care of me. I got to take care of myself. And the never ever behavior for a 5 is never underestimate a 5. And people do this. People do underestimate a 5, and 5s have this resiliency to them, and part of it comes from this independence of, I'm going to take care of myself. I'm going to, meet my own needs, or I'm going to limit my needs, and then not need as much from other people. So this autonomy, comfortable spending time alone. That doesn't mean that 5s don't want to connect. I think 5s do want to connect with others, and 5s, sometimes will describe relationships as though I missed a class somewhere along the way on how you interact with people in a positive way. It seems like I sometimes can be, again, I don't want to keep this negative. I don't want to go negative. I want to keep it positive. So that independent, not requiring a lot of attention from others, not requiring a lot of people to have constant social interaction with them in order to feel fulfilled. And so that can be a great strength. At certain times in your life or in certain phases of your life, that independence. So we got intellectual curiosity, analytical skills, independence, and number 4, innovative thinking. And that means thinking outside the box. Being able to let go of some of your social constructs or mental constructs and being able to see a situation from a different perspective and to think beyond the constructs that most people have, or the restrictions in our thinking that most of us have. A lot of us have mindset restrictions, And so innovative thinking, type 5s tend to be creative and innovative thinkers, and their ability to think outside the box allows them to come up with unique solutions to problems and novel ideas. And if you have a 5 in your life, you know what I'm talking about, how you'll be working through a problem, you go and sit down and talk to a 5, and they often see the situation from a very different perspective and can be quite challenging at times. And we're not always ready for that kind of challenge, but at the right time, in the right circumstances, 5s integrate to 8. 8 is called the challenger, and 5s are able to challenge people with their innovative thinking and their innovative ideas. And for you, it might not feel innovative at all. It's just kind of the way your brain works. But for the rest of us, we might think, how did you come up with that? Or how do you see it from that perspective? Number 5, emotional detachment. Emotional detachment. Again, there's a dark side to that, but we're not going to really try to deal with that in this video. Although it can be a challenge in certain situations, the ability to detach emotionally can at times be a great strength for 5s. Think, for example, if you had to be a surgeon. If you're doing surgery on children, being emotionally enmeshed or emotionally integrated in what you're doing right now could become very problematic. Imagine if you're a deep emotional person and you're doing surgery on this child and suddenly you get this fear that, man, if I mess this up, this poor little child, this poor little kid, this poor little human is not going to be able to experience their life. Oh my goodness. And then the panic and the anxiety might start to set in. But that ability to emotionally detach and sort of just think of what you're doing now as in mechanical terms could be a great strength under this kind of situation. I remember I was talking to a surgeon one time who performed surgery on one of my daughters. When my daughter Madison has Down syndrome, when Madison was born, she had a serious heart defect. And one of the surgeon that performed the surgery is probably a 5. I don't know that for sure. It's been a long time ago, 20 something years ago. But my guess is probably a 5. I asked him after the surgery, thank you so much for doing this. And what made you get into this line of work? And he said, well, I've always been good with my hands. And I thought I'm either going to become an auto mechanic or possibly a surgeon. And it was very detached. It's like I'm treating bodies the same way one might look at an automobile engine. I need to move this part here and repair that part, and then everything was sewed up and put back together and they're ready to go on their way. So that emotional detachment of being able to not get overwhelmed, and I think that's one of the fears of a 5 is of being enmeshed and overwhelmed by others, and that ability to kind of step back and remove yourself mentally or remove yourself from the environment and to be unaffected or less affected by the environment around you can be at times a fantastic strength that can give you the ability to have insight into situations that maybe the rest of us would miss. And so emotional detachment. So think in a crisis, the ability to have clear thinking and to remain rational and decision making, could be greatly enhanced. Okay, number 6, patience. Type 5s and patience. Generally patient people, able to wait for the right time and the right circumstances to act, and don't let the anxiety push you to act too soon, like maybe a 6 would. They're willing to spend considerable time and effort to acquire the necessary knowledge and skills before taking action. Now, of course, there could be a downside there of when do you know you have enough information that you need to take action. And that's kind of that 5 line to 7. Like, I need more information. I need another, scrap of information or another course before I launch this business. And, you need to know when you know enough to go ahead and take action. But that ability to be patient, to sort of lie in wait and count your time properly and have all the right details and all the right facts figured out before I launch and take action. The positive way of saying that is that you can be very patient. And patience is a good thing. And patience can be hard for some of us, especially 7s. All right, and number 7, visionary. Visionary thinkers. Because of their deep thinking and their love for knowledge, 5s tend to be visionary in their fields of interest. They can see the future possibilities and the trends that other people might miss. Being able to analyze the situation and then being able to forecast, well, then what should we do in light of that information or in light of that trend? And that could help you become a very visionary person, or people might see you as a visionary thinker. So here we go. 1 through 7, intellectual curiosity, analytical skills, independence, innovative thinking, emotional detachment, patience, and a visionary. And so in summary, these are strengths of type 5s that make you often good problem solvers and insightful contributors in whatever respective fields that you have an interest in, and can help you navigate and help others that you're working with navigate through the challenges and problems in life. And so what a great list of strengths, what a great list of natural abilities or natural talents that you could continue to develop in your interactions with other people. And I just want to say again, we appreciate you. We appreciate all that you do. And if you feel like at times that you get stuck and you get stuck in overanalyzing things and in a detached place, you're not feeling like you're connecting with other people and you're not always sure what the next right action is for you, again, reach out. I would love to walk you through my 12-week coaching program and help you in any way I can move forward in life and to always be present with life. Thank you guys, and I'll see you next time.